Firstly, I should say this probably won't make you popular. And before I start this talk, which is called Sisters Doing It to Ourselves, it's about the crappy behaviour of women. And I need to make something very clear, which is that since I started learning and writing about feminism, I've been surrounded by warmth and love from other women. And the historic hostility that I've experienced and witnessed does not overshadow the sisterhood, but neither should it be ignored. So I guess this is my sort of disclaimer, hashtag not all women. So this talk was going to be about the rise of the woke woman, about the women who throw their lot in sex industry lobbyists so they can look sexy.
Excuse me, can't hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry, can you hear now? Yeah, okay. So this talk is going to be about the rise of the woke woman, about the women who throw their lot in with the sex industry lobbyists so that they can look sexy, about the women who are so eager to please men that they would make a gift of our rights and spaces, about the fools who even sacrifice their own breast milk and wounds to satisfy the fetishes of men. I have intended to draw attention to the fact that some of patriarchy's most effective spies and shock troops are women, and often lesbian to boot. High-profile woke women are legion, and included in their number are the likes of Linda, Jack the Ripper Museum Riley, Ash fucks like a champ Shakar, Ruth Hunt, Laurie, what's the good name for those people who have uteruses and stuff? Penny. I was planning to explore the theories as to why women side with men, be it popularity, power, Stockholm syndrome, or raw fear. As I said, that's what I was going to talk about. But actually, since planning this talk, I've come to realise that the problem isn't limited to those outside of women's liberation. Neither is it a problem of right-wing trolls or lefty snowflakes. It's a problem that affects all women, including those within our own movement, and it's as undeniable and widespread as male violence. Around 2 weeks ago, I wrote a piece explaining why I call myself bisexual. Now, I realise that's controversial, I expected to ruffle feathers, but I didn't brace myself for the intensely personal, vicious, and dare I say it, characteristically female harassment I received. I should have prepared myself, because it's happened before. I was called a traitor, disease-ridden, and misogynist. I was told that I was a closeted lesbian. I was told that I was a closeted lesbian and that I'm straight. My civil partner was told that I was using her and that I would leave her for a man. This wasn't a political disagreement, it was personal. Moreover, I realised that while I had never had rape threats from a woman, I had never received vitriol, the type calculated to cause maximum pain, verbally, from a man. And I'm not alone. It seems every week I'll be contacted by a feminist who has been targeted by other women. And I think what makes it harder is that hostility from women isn't something that feminists want to admit as a problem. Because if there is something that unites us, it's that we're idealists. Otherwise we wouldn't bother trying to change things at all. This sickness at the heart of all women is corrosive. In her work, Women's Inhumanity to Women, Phyllis Chesler explores this phenomenon, which she terms female indirect aggression. She ascribes it in part to the desire of women and girls to be included in groups and the disabling impact of living in a world which hates women. So feminists like to think of ourselves as above mob mentality, of those activists who parrot sex workers work or trans women are women. But actually, when we descend on other women who break rank or voice unpopular opinion, we follow exactly the same pattern. Indirect aggression isn't just about women siding with men. It's also about scapegoating individual women to curry favour with the group. And this is finding that is dangerously close to sexist stereotypes about women's bitchy behaviour, but that doesn't mean it should be discounted. Whatever the group, whether it's an Amazonian band of lesbian separatists or the gender equality networks in Vestal universities, women will assiduously police the social rules to exclude women, and in doing so secure their own position. And in a society that already dehumanises women, othering those with whom we disagree is all too easy. And I don't think there's one of us in this room today who hasn't either witnessed or been the subject of thrashing. Indeed, whether we admit it or not, the chances are that we may have each participated in it. So something that punctuates Chesler's work are her recollections of the feminists who told her to stay quiet. She is repeatedly told that in writing on the subject of women's sexism, she would damage the feminist movement and play into the misogynist stereotypes about women. It might be extreme, but I think there's a parallel here with every mother who tells her daughter not to talk about the incest she suffers lest it break up the family. For me, the realisation that women are socialised to hurt one another and not to voice the pain was as shocking a revelation as when I realised that male violence was a pattern rather than isolated incidents. So, as feminists, we analyse the limited choices that we're presented with within patriarchy, whether to wear makeup, whether to wear practical clothes, whether to include men in our lives. But we do not as a rule think about the misogynist patterns of behaviour that we're socialised into, the suspicion, the hostility, the competition towards other women. Bell Hooks faced this head on when she said, we need to challenge the simplistic notion that man is the enemy and woman the victim. The power to end female indirect aggression lies in our heads and our hands, but to do so, we need to acknowledge that the woman problem is our responsibility. Blaming men for our own behaviour towards other women might be ideologically correct, but it is useless in any practical sense. And there's money to be made from reflecting and fostering women's indirect aggression. It's kept women's magazines in circulation for one. The editors of Take a Break and Female know that women are petty and cruel and bitchy to each other. Why do feminists pretend to be above it? We might not critique one another's bodies, but there will always be something to sneer at. Should be too needy, too harsh, too honest. Don't get me wrong, we don't beat each other senseless, start wars or rape like men do, comparatively we're pretty awesome. Though, when we're up against a common enemy, we all too often turn against one another for personal advantage. It's tribal, it's destructive, and it hinders the movement. So, men from building sites to Davos, they have one another's backs. History and current affairs are a parade of powerful men sticking together, from Putin and Trump to Corbyn and the beardy nutties of Hamas. When women outside of our very small movement want power or popularity, they attach themselves to men. They could marry Black Cozy like Jacob Rees-Mogg, or Diane Abbott playfully flirting on Andrew Neil's sofa with Michael Portillo. It's shocking to me that I can't think of a single instance of a woman in politics pairing with another woman in a similar way. Indeed, when Andrea Leadsom wanted to score points off Theresa May, she sunk so low as to use her personal life. Such public examples show how women's animosity and jealousy towards other women affects every sphere of life. And when the same standards are applied to men, they remain impervious to social opprobrium. I mean, we still don't even know how many children our new esteemed Prime Minister has. So, government commits money to encourage women into man-shaped political roles, ignoring not just the barriers from men, but also the social and psychological reasons why women, as a rule, don't help each other. Obviously, anything designed to increase women's representation in politics is to be welcomed, but ultimately, the change we need is more fundamental. And there is a parallel to the policing of women's speech in the language of the left. Expression is stifled by the desire to seem moral. From the smug sanctimonies and watchtower of righteousness, the safe know that it can abuse non-believers with impunity. The right fear no such censure. Feminists occupy an uncomfortable space in a no-man's land between the ongoing culture wars, abandoned by the left, but with no friend in the right. While the Guardian and the BBC fall over themselves to seem diverse and inclusive, they will gladly ignore or misrepresent the violence and harassment from transgender activists because feminists have unacceptable views and are therefore a legitimate target. This insider-outsider thinking is a fractal pattern, replicated from the world stage to interpersonal relationships. It works to dehumanise outsiders, but regardless of the group or the cause, what is constant is that women fare worse. So, free-thinking, opinionated women make both men and women feel uncomfortable. And even in 2019, it disrupts the social order. The idea so helpfully articulated by James Joyce that men are governed by lines of intellect and women by curves of emotion is culturally embedded bullshit that surfaces in surprising ways. And one as such is something that I've done throughout this talk. I think in order to promote ideas, women have to give of themselves emotionally. And it seems our opinions are only valid if we have personal experience to back up our political points. And male writers are not expected to do this in the same way. They are permitted to have the liberty to have ideas exist independently of their bodies and their direct experience, because they are, of course, the arbiters and the setters of truth. So while the personal as political is a rallying call to unite women and share previously unspoken truths, I think it can also tie us to an unhelpful framework. Because women are encouraged to find a personal peg for our political opinions, when our viewpoints are challenged, it can be difficult not to take it personally. Moreover, women are taught not to trust our judgment, so the slightest blow of criticism can feel cataclysmic. In order to voice our opinions, particularly unpopular ones, women have to overcome the weight of self-doubt, to defy social prejudices, and then to navigate the suffocating conventions of femininity. To then be hurt by the women we look to lift us up can be devastating. And it's a bind, because showing our hurt risks being seen as irrational and emotional, exactly what sexist have long accused women of, despite the fact that it is predominantly men who meet at football matches and kill when they don't get their own way. So we need to create a space where we can play with ideas and where we can recognise when we are targeting the messenger and not her message. Another point that serves to divide women, an elephant in the room if you like, is the weaponising of intersectionality in the form of identity politics. Rather than a legal tool to explore the additional barriers faced by different groups, it has been used by women to justify the silencing of other women. So, in the lesbian revolution, Sheila Jeffreys recalls the destructive impact that this had on the second wave, effectively fractionalising what had been a united movement until the point where women had to list their multiple aggressions before feeling confident to speak. Fear of being labelled with isms and phobias is just another way that indirect aggression plays out. And it's a particularly cruel tactic to use on women, as we've been socialised to care and fear breaking the social conventions of groups. Whatever the merits of intersectionality is a theory, in practice it is more commonly used by women to rationalise their hatred and envy of other women. Identity politics turns the guilt we bear in on ourselves. Rather than listening to and acting on the experiences of marginalised women, women are held responsible for the injustices done towards one another, and our collective interests are fractured. Feminists are divided into ever more inward-looking, ineffectual support groups, rather than a unified, political, outward-facing movement. Given that we're subject to the same messages, it's unsurprising that, like men, women divide one another into the virtuous and the fallen. Men are not torn down for being self-interested. Their campaigns are not invalidated because they happen to have egos. However, women with any standing within a feminist community are expected to embody every aspect of their values with any trace of impurity sniffed out. Of course, it is disappointing to realise that your heroine is human, but this should serve to caution against the idolising of women. As Andrea Dawkins notes in Right Wing Women, the morally good woman is put on a pedestal, a small, precarious raised stage, often mined, on which she stands for as long as she can until she falls off or jumps or it goes boom. We hold women to ridiculous standards, circling to pick over their faults when they fall, or worse still, we persecute them for having the temerity to cling on despite not being perfect. When the realisation that all of us are biased against women hits, it can be a shock. So I remember the first time I noticed, as a young woman, feeling a profound sense of guilt on recalling how I'd disbelieved female friends who told me that they'd been raped, particularly when the perpetrator was in a shared friendship group. I was quick to chalk it up to regret at sex gone wrong, because that rationale skirted around uncomfortable truths and made me feel safer. And I think this is the same process as when we avoid recognising or excuse women's indirect aggression. As with the excuses we make for male violence, we need to stop and ask ourselves in whose interests we are working when we ignore the destructive, bullying behaviour of some women. If we do not, we risk repeating today the mistakes of the past. As Chesley warns, minimising and denying women sexism is what grounded an entire liberation movement. So, to conclude, we can all have a laugh about the dick-pandering liberal feminists, but first we must take the cock out of our own eye. Until women see each other as human, we will never be able to create a world where we are treated as human. All the while, feminists waste time smearing one another, silencing one another, and telling one another we aren't sufficiently oppressed to speak. The pornographers, the pimps, and the politicians and the plutocrats who enable them are laughing at us.